Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. So earlier today we wrapped up the final day of the second LEC Super Week, the final day of the 2021 LEC Spring Split, and it was supposed to be a crazier day than it was. You know, we had promises of like insane ties and tiebreakers and all this craziness and stuff, and maybe Fnatic not making the playoffs and yada yada yada, and not really any of that stuff happened. You know, we didn't end up with any crazy tiebreakers. Fnatic sneaks into the playoffs after, I believe, going 0-3 in the Super Week. And this is the bracket we're looking at currently. G2 did have their choice between who they wanted to play between Schalke and Mad Lions, and the other team would be going against Rogue in the first round. So we'll be filling in that whole bracket. But in this video today, we're going to be going round by round, giving my predictions for the entire playoffs, breaking down all the matchups that are going to happen, all the potential matchups that are going to happen, and just be talking about all that stuff. Now, there is a quick note that the LEC playoffs do not start this weekend. The LCS playoffs start this weekend. LEC actually has a week off, and then the playoffs start. So all these teams have like 2 full weeks of preparation before all the first round matchups and stuff. And then after that, these LEC playoffs are going to be really, really fun. Obviously, the top 4 in the winners bracket, they are playing double elimination, but the teams down in the losers bracket, they are just playing single elimination the whole way out. So a ton of pressure on them, but it should be fun. Before we get into that, I just want to mention real quick, if you guys have not already, it's that time of the video where we take a second and we smash the like button. Check out the likes on the video. If it's under, say, 100, then hey, smash it, run it up. If it's over 100, you're good to go. You know, we hit our limit, we hit what we're going for, that'd be fine. Also, subscribe to stay updated on all my latest content so you don't miss out on any of the videos we got coming out in the near future, because we got playoffs, MSI, all that stuff right around the corner. With that being said, let's get right into this. So, the first thing at hand to discuss was who G2 was going to be playing. You know, we know G2 is our 1 seed. We know Rogue is our 2 seed here. So G2 had the choice who they wanted to play. There was Schalke and there was Mad Lions. G2 could choose who they were going to play. This is the 3 seed and the 4 seed. G2 gets a selection of who they want to play in the first round since they are the highest seed. They decided to go with Schalke headed into the playoffs in the first round, and that means that Mad Lions is going to be matched up against Rogue here. So these are our first round matchups. I guess we'll just work it top to bottom. We got G2 versus Schalke. Obviously Schalke is a team that there was a question if they were even going to be able to make the playoffs. They've had super weird points in their season. There was a time where they beat G2 and beat Rogue maybe in back-to-back games. It seemed like pretty close to back-to-back games. It seemed, you know, within 2 weekends of each other. You know, they were the giant slayers. They were knocking off top-tier teams. And then I believe they went on a 7-game losing streak. But then still to be able to not only make the playoffs, but to be a top 4 seed, I mean, Schalke definitely has some talent. They are definitely a very solid team. And they had a good run. And I do believe they will be a dangerous team in this playoffs. But I do not think they will have anything on G2. Obviously, G2 has won however many LEC titles in a row. I think they are clearly the best team in the LEC. I think they are one of the best teams in the world. I think they are insanely talented. Yes, they did drop a few games here and there in the LEC, but they won the games when they needed to. They went 2-0 against Rogue. They went 1-1 against Fnatic, but there was that, you know, famous internet lagging type game. I think G2, it's going to be business as usual for them. I don't think Schalke is a team that is going to have many answers for what G2 is going to be doing. I definitely, you know, if Schalke won a game, I wouldn't be shocked, but I think you have to predict a 3-0 here for G2. So I do see Schalke getting eliminated here. That does mean that they will be the lower seed, so that means they will get knocked down, and that does mean that they will be playing the winner of this Fnatic SK series, and that means the loser of our game over here will actually be moving on to the 3rd round game down here. So then we get to Rogue against Mad Lions. Rogue is a team who pretty much start to finish of the season was either in like 1st or 2nd. We knew they were probably going to be a top tier team because they were really good last year. Then they got the upgrade of Odoamne in the top lane. We weren't exactly sure how Trimby was going to work out. And he maybe hasn't been amazing. Maybe hasn't been all of what Vander was last year for Rogue, but he's still been pretty good. Odoamne has been a massive upgrade in the top lane, and this team has been scary. They've been good, and they've been consistently the next best team in the LEC. And Mad Lions, on the other hand, has not really consistently been the 3rd team. They've moved all over the standings, but they are also a Very, very talented team. I'm not surprised at all to see them finishing up this high in the standings because they have so many good players. Obviously, Kaiser, Humanoid. Their lineup is kind of locked and loaded, and then they made the changes with Aloya and with Armut coming in, and those guys have had their ups and downs. They've had their struggles in the LEC as well, but they're all kind of finding their groove, obviously, to be ending the season kind of on the right note, moving up the standings, locking in top 4. They seem good to go. But Rogue is a very, very tough team, and I do not think Mad Lions will be getting past them. I'm going to predict a 3-1 here for Rogue. I think this will be a good series, way better than G2 and Schalke. I think Mad Lions definitely has the talent to compete with Rogue, to give them games, to give them a series. I don't think this will be a cakewalk by any means, but I do expect Rogue to win this series more often than not. I do expect them to be able to handle Mad Lions. So that means we are going to be placing Mad Lions down here in this third round game in the losers bracket. That you can't really see very well, so I'm going to try and write that again. Hopefully I can squeeze it in. Mad is going to here. Now we'll switch up the colors or whatever for the subsequent games. I guess actually we're still in the same round, but whatever. We're switching up the colors. We have Fnatic and SK in the losers bracket. Kind of a weird game. SK, this was a team that a couple of weeks ago, they were tied for third. They were looking like they might be the third best team in the LEC, but really, it was just kind of how their schedule worked out. They had a lot of easier games at the beginning of the second round robin, and then they started playing the rest of the teams in the LEC in the second half, and now, again, like I said, they closed out their super week going 0-3, but they did squeak into the playoffs. Fnatic, on the other hand, the team coming in the year who everyone thought was going to be really solid. Yes, they lost Reckless, but people were saying they got an upgrade in the mid lane, and that upset, while he is worse than Reckless, shouldn't be too much worse. So this team that was one game away from making it to the semifinals at Worlds last year should still be really good. A lot of people were still picking them to be the second best team in the LEC. I'm pretty sure I leaned towards Rogue more than Fnatic because I am not the biggest fan of Niski, and I do like Upset, but I didn't think he was going to be, a side grade from Reckless. I thought he'd be a downgrade for sure, but I still thought Fnatic would be good. I did not think they would be finishing and looking as inconsistent and bad as they did during the regular season. But with that being said, SK, very inexperienced, very young team, headed into the playoffs against Fnatic, who is a veteran-filled team of guys who have done, they've done this before. Every time they've had their backs against the wall, they've been able to pull stuff like this out. Even though they haven't looked great, even though they have not looked consistent, I believe with 2 weeks to get ready for this match, I think they should be able to handle SK very, very easily here. And I'm not really worried about them. I do think they are going to be just fine. And I am going to be taking Fnatic 3-0 against SK. I do have SK getting eliminated in the first round again. SK, they had a good regular season, but they barely squeaked into the playoffs. They don't have very much momentum or anything coming into it, and I think Fnatic is just going to be a much better prepared team, a much better playoff team, a much better team in best of fives, much more experienced team, and just a more talented team overall. I mean, when you look at the players one for one across the board, there's not too many positions you're going to be giving to SK, so I think that will be a 3-0 for Fnatic. Even though, Fnatic is not looking that great either. Then we have Fnatic against Schalke in the second round of the losers bracket. This gets to be a little bit more interesting of a series. Obviously, Fnatic not coming in with very much momentum. Schalke, again, two very, very inconsistent teams. This series could literally be anything. No matter what the scoreline, if Schalke 3-0'd, if Fnatic 3-0'd, if Schalke won 3-2, if Fnatic won 3-2, I would really not be surprised because I think both of these teams are so inconsistent. And I think this series is going to be, it could be very back and forth, or it could be extremely lopsided either way. I'm very, very curious to see how this is going to go. But with that being said, something still tells me that I don't know what Schalke is going to be able to do here. I don't know if Fnatic is just going to be going out in the second round of the losers bracket. It's not really their MO. It's not really their history. It's not really what they're known for. But again, this is a very, very different Fnatic roster than the years before. But in the end, I am going to give the slight edge to Fnatic. I like Schalke. I like a lot of their players. Obviously, a big fan of BB and a lot of stuff they have going on. But in the end, I'm going to predict a 3-2. I can see this being a banger of a matchup with some crazy games, crazy drafts, crazy picks. Blippo against BB in the top lane should be very, very fun. Obviously, Abadage, you never know exactly what you're going to get from him. Gilius, the trash talk and everything. Fnatic with just guys making crazy plays. This could be an insane series. It could be so much fun. But again, playoff experience, just the pedigree, straight talent of the players. I do see Fnatic being able to pull it out. But again, if Schalke did win, I wouldn't be totally surprised. Then we get to Mad Lions and Fnatic. Fnatic trying to continue on their little miracle run through the gauntlet, but this is where I see it ending here. I am going to predict another 5-game series because I think these teams could be very, very close, especially in the playoffs. But I do think Mad is a more talented team, and I think they've been a better team throughout the LEC regular season. I think they've been a little bit more consistent. Yes, they do have their weaknesses. They are exploitable. They could be punished, but man, again, just the huge playmakers for Mad Lions. Armut has been decent for them. He's been solid. Aloya's been pretty good, but Humanoid, Kaiser, guys like that stepping up. Not that Fnatic doesn't have those players as well, but Fnatic has just been a little bit too inconsistent for me to keep having this much faith in them, for me to keep, picking them to move on. So I'm going to have, Fnatic winning 2 series. That would be a kind of a success for them, honestly, with how this season has gone. But I would have to give this one up to Mad Lions. I would pick another 5-game series because I could see this one being a banger, but I would see Mad Lions taking this 3-2, and that moves Mad on, and then they're going to be waiting for the loser of the semifinals. We'll switch it up to, let's call it green now. So now we get into G2 against Rogue. I can't spell. We have G2 against Rogue in the semifinals. This is going to be a very, very hyped up match. Obviously, G2 and Rogue have been compared pretty much the entire regular season. They've been the top 2 teams in the LEC. Their matchups have not been all that close. G2 has really looked a class above them. They've really looked a lot better, and that does concern me for Rogue, obviously. Rogue is a very, very solid team, but they have not really shown to have an answer for G2 just yet. That's not necessarily a bad thing. G2 is a very, very talented team. They give a lot of teams in the world a lot of troubles. So this series, while it's going to be hyped up, while it's going to be exciting, while it's probably going to be fun, I think G2 just has a huge advantage in it. They have definitely the talent edge I would give to them, the experience in best of 5s, in playoff scenarios, all that stuff, which I think is super, super valuable. But also like the mental edge, the mental block that so many teams in the LEC have of just taking on G2 and being able to beat them and being able to knock them out of the playoffs or anything. I see this one being very, very lopsided, just like the most recent G2 versus Rogue game was. I see honestly another 3-0 for G2 here, and I see Rogue getting bumped down to the losers bracket finals where they would take on Mad Lions. I think this would be a banger of a series. This is a game where I like a lot of the Mad players. I think they're a very, very solid, fun team, but I think Rogue is just so good. I really think the LEC is G2, and then a big step down Rogue, and then a big step down kind of everybody else. Your Mad, your Schalke, your Fnatic. I think all those teams are really close and kind of interchangeable depending on the day, but I don't really think there's another team in the LEC quite on the level of Rogue. I really think Rogue has distanced themselves from the rest of that middle of the pack. Inspired has had just an amazing, amazing season. Again, Oduwamne has been a great new addition to this team. Larson is as consistent as anybody. Hansama being an amazing just insurance policy, big carry threat, a guy that I really enjoy playing. Hansama is one of my, I enjoy watching play. He's really one of my favorite ADCs to watch. In the LEC, I think he's a ton of fun. I think he's really, really good. But I do have a soft spot for Mad Lions as well. I like a lot of their players. I'm a big fan of Humanoid, big fan of Kaiser. I really like watching them play. I'm not completely sold on Carzzy for Mad Lions. I'm not completely sold on Arma either. I do think Rogue should have a pretty easy time handling them. I'm going to go with a 3-1 victory for Rogue over Mad Lions and get us back to this finals where we'll go with gold for the golden game of G2 against Rogue again, getting a second best of 3 against, or best of 5 against them, which this is kind of weird how this works out, how like they might just have to play right away, right again. But in the finals, same stuff. I do expect G2 to have a massive, massive advantage over Rogue. I do expect G2 to be the eventual champions. I mean, at this point, I predicted G2 to go 3-0 twice, which I think seems a little unrealistic. G2 always, their thing is kind of dropping random games, meme and troll and having a crazy pick, having a crazy early game that they int away. Maybe I should have predicted them to lose a game already by now, but I really just think they are a class above everyone in the LEC right now, and we know that they want to go to MSI, they want to win, they want to just continue to get better and better and better, and they want to dominate Europe. So in the end, I guess I will give a game to Rogue. I'll go 3-1 G2 in the finals with them knocking off Rogue. But if they they went undefeated in the playoffs, I wouldn't be too shocked either. Again, with G2, you can never be too shocked when they decide to randomly pick some crazy draft, just a limit test, because, you know, they have so much confidence in themselves, even if they lose a game, being able to win. Also, just, are they going to go for some crazy, stupid plays in the early game and see what happens? You know, those things are going to happen. But in the end, I do think that G2, when they are giving it their all, when they are tryharding, they are really better than all these other teams. And that is why I have the champs going to be G2. And then I also have them going to MSI as well. And I think that will be so much fun. I think that is going to be so exciting. I cannot wait to see G2 taking on some of the top, obviously the top team in the LCK, the top team in the LPL, whoever that may be. And I think it's going to be a ton of fun. And I really cannot wait to see how they stack up against those other teams in the world, and maybe see how much better they need to get before Worlds, or if Worlds is just going to be really hype and exciting this year. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Again, these playoffs are not starting this weekend. They are starting the next week. I think it's like March 26th or something like that. The last weekend in March is going to be the start of your LEC playoffs, and we're going to have so many best of 5, so many banger matchups, so many fun ones. Can Fnatic make it out of the lower bracket? Can G2 run the table? Can Rogue challenge them? What's going to happen with Schalke? What's going to happen with Mad Lions? I can't wait to find out, but these are my predictions. I think these playoffs are going to be really fun. I hope you guys think so as well. But if you did enjoy the video, make sure you drop a like, leave a comment down below. What do you think I got right? What do you think I got wrong? What do your predictions look like? Who do you think is going to win it all? What are your scores? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on anything we talked about in today's video. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully I catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace!